Hit it, boys! Fins up, everybody. We are the Gypsies in the Palace here on the Jimmy Buffett Tour, and welcome to the Margaritaville Podcast, Gypsies in the Palace edition. First ever. We're going to be doing more of these, and it's all about recapping the shows, talking about the Buffett Tour that we've been on for a long time, and our unique experiences as roadies working for Jimmy Buffett. We hope to have other roadies on the show at some point, but you're going to hear it right from the guys who work for Jimmy on tour. And this year, it is the I Don't Know Tour 2017, Changes in Latitudes, looks at 40. So here we are on our first day off from the tour. After a 6-hour bus ride from Charleston, South Carolina, we are in Orlando, Florida. And with me is Lars Larson, creative director here.
Hello, hello.
And Hallie Hare, longtime security guard here on the Buffett Tour.
Hello, hello. How you doing?
And we're missing, who are we missing today?
Jared.
That's right, we're missing Jared.
He must be going to get a Subway somewhere.
I know. Or Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's.
Because the guy's so cheap on his lunches all the time. He's supposed to be here. Jared, for the last 3 years, has been working with us on the Margaritaville side of the tour, getting the License to Chill Lounge all put together. And among other things. You know, he's a jack of all trades, but he got a promotion this year, and he's now going to be the production assistant for the tour. And I told him about this podcast, told him that he had to be here. And so when I texted him saying, hey, man, be here. We're going to record at this time. Sorry, man, I'm out drinking with a buddy. Give me more a heads up next time.
Last time I saw him last night, before I went to bed on the bus, he looked at me and said, and you know, to kind of bring you guys into this, I used to live in Orlando, and so did Jared. Didn't know each other then. And he said, hey, Lars, are you going to hang out with any old friends? And I said, no, I don't know where any of my friends are in Orlando anymore. And he said, yeah, me either.
Really?
So the first thing he said today is, I'm out having a drink with a buddy. So I don't know if he just didn't want us to go. I don't get it.
Well, he has a tendency, like, he'll either be with us and hanging out, you know, or he, like, he disappears. He disappears. You don't, like, I remember, I forget what town we were in, but we didn't see him for a few days. And, whoa, like, he went, he's got friends in some towns, you know?
Yeah.
But
well, he was, what was he, in the Army at one point?
He was in the Army.
Yes.
Yep.
Said he was a chaplain's assistant, but I think he was more like
A chapel assistant.
I know. We'll have to get him. I still don't know what that does. I don't know what that was. He was in Iraq, but I don't. Like, we got to ask him about.
Knows
No one really knows.
Yeah.
But he disappeared. I'm like, all right. So we can talk a little smack about him here today. But normally Jared would be here with us, but he's not. Because he's too good for us, because now he's a production assistant.
That's
forget
right.
about him. Let's move on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I did see him this morning on the bus. He looked like he got his ass whipped yesterday at that show.
Man, it was hot. It was hot.
Charleston was hot. But like we were talking about this earlier, it'll get way hotter there this year, but we're definitely not ready for hot weather.
No,
as a crew and as a tour, I don't think.
Right, because, you know, we still, like, getting started on this weather of summer tour, and the weather just now changing hot.
Well, we rehearsed all week in at the Coliseum in an arena.
Ice Palace.
Yeah, and the ice was down for the hockey team with boards over it. So we get right into that thing, and
we got used to the 60-some degrees, right? And
yeah,
then boom.
I mean, I was beat too, but I think Jared, now that he's a production assistant, he has to stay out there until, like, the last truck is bolted.
Oh, my God.
So while we go shower earlier, we get on the bus, we're just...
He went from being like the second or third guy to shower and back in the bus to the absolute dead last.
That's what promotion good for too. That's what,
I know. Well, so my cool co-host here, Lars. Lars, when did you start working on tour?
On tour, I think I started in 2007. We were just talking about this on the Bama Breeze tour. Because I remember the laminate from that tour was based off the Bama Breeze, and it had a window that went through it. Unlike any other pass I've seen, it was actually transparent.
Let me just say, that laminate, of all the laminates that I had to make, was the biggest bitch of them all, because it was 3 pieces.
Oh, yeah, you had to fold
it was
like
origami. I had to put the thing together, and anytime I had to make a new one, I'm just like, oh my God, it was like arts and crafts. They look great, but they were a pain. But I do remember that one.
But yeah, 2007. And I kind of feel like you're still the new guy, right?
Yeah, because most of these guys,
Yes.
like we just had John Gill, who had been on this tour for over 20 years, as our tour rigger, retire. But he's been he toured with Led Zeppelin,
Right, in Chicago.
and the band Chicago. Did he do Prince? I don't know if he did Prince. I know he said Paul
not sure of
Abdul.
Oh,
But
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney.
McCartney.
But when you say Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he started anyway, so he's retired. So yeah. I mean, you're still, heck, I'm even still seem like one of the new guys starting in 2000.
Yeah, well, we were talking. When did Hallie start?
I started about 24 years ago.
Wow.
And the only reason I know it was 24 years ago because my daughter is 23. That's the only way I can keep up track. By her age, and that's I was the year before. She was born.
Cool.
That's crazy.
And you've always been security. You and
Always been
Charleston.
security. Me and Charleston, yes.
Yeah.
Charleston started a couple years, a year ahead of me
Right.
and everything, and so we got on board in that way.
Got it. And you started out as the self-proclaimed, Lars, you were self-proclaimed backstage party doctor.
Yeah, just making drinks and putting up signs.
Well, yeah, and because that was like one of the first years, we didn't name it yet, but we actually kind of put a bigger emphasis on the pre-show party.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
now
well, added
evolved.
a marketing element, yeah.
Yeah, it's all now evolved into the License to Chill Lounge, but it's
If you haven't been to the License to Chill Lounge, it's our pre-show party before each concert. And
it was the year before LandShark came out in 2008.
yeah.
And we want to thank the folks at LandShark Lager for sponsoring this podcast, as well as our friends at the Margaritaville Beach Resort in Hollywood, Florida. If you guys want to check out a cool resort, go down to the Margaritaville Resort in Hollywood Beach. It is outstanding. And if you want a beer, I consider it beach in a bottle. I love LandShark, and we want to thank LandShark for helping us put this podcast together. So here we are. Let's get going. Jimmy was somewhere else before these rehearsals, and Lars and I, we weren't on that trip. Hallie, I think you were on that trip. Where did you go?
Australia.
Let's hear your best Australian accent.
Hey, mate. How you doing, mate?
Man, it's like we're there.
We there.
So where did you? Now was it a long flight?
Yeah, it was a very long flight, and the flight was about 19 hours. Is 5.5 hours from Charlotte to L.A. From L.A. to Australia, 13.5 hours. I made it through it though. It was a long, grueling trip, but it was a good trip.
What do you do on a plane? Because listen, you're a big guy. You got to sit in. Did you at least get a decent seat?
Thank God we was in first class.
Wow.
And we was in first class, and it lays out like a bed, but you're going to sleep so much. Watch movies, lay around, watch people talking and everything, but it's still a long trip.
It is.
And
then when you land, you're just like, what time is it? Where am I?
Yeah. Like you leave, I think Australia, 16 hours ahead of us? Something like that. And,
Yeah.
And so,
you flew into the future.
Yes, exactly. In the future.
That's how far you flew.
Yeah, tell us more about Australia, McFly.
We down there with them thinking that, I'm gonna see a lot of kangaroos hopping around like deers in North Carolina. I'm like asking people, where the kangaroos at? And they were like, oh man, you gotta go to the zoo to look at the kangaroos.
You can do that at home.
That's right. I said, hey, what? They were talking about the koala bears. And I said, where the koala bears at? They said, man, they sleep 20 hours. 20 hours? I said, who sleeps 20 hours? They said, I eat this leaf that make them high. And they get up.
Is that the eucalyptus tree? Is that what they eat?
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
So they just get stoned and they
get
sleep.
stoned and go sleep. And they say they get up and make with the women and stuff. And go back to sleep. And I'm like, man, what a life.
What did you see any? No.
No, didn't see not one.
What did you get to see? Anything cool on any days off or even during the show? Anything that you were like, oh man, I'm in Australia?
Yeah, the people we see, when they start talking, he's all my Australia because the accent they have.
Was it tough to understand?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, mate, I'm like, man, okay. But it's all good and fun. But the show was great though. The show was great. The bands, we saw a lot of bands. Me and my partner Charleston, we went over and seen Mary J. Blige.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
We watched Mary J. Blige perform. She did a good show. Jimmy put on a great show, you know. And the fans, you know, I was amazed how the fans that knew every word
Yeah.
to his songs. You know, it wasn't like no tourists. It was Australian people.
Yeah.
You know, they was singing along with it and everything.
Beach people.
Beach people,
right?
yes.
So they're gonna know it.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there going, well, wow, over here in another world, on the other side of the world, you know.
That's really cool because when we do the Paris show, I feel like you have some Parisians there, but you also have a lot of expats, right?
You
Right.
do.
But so I guess like Australia, it's more just straight up Australians that have been exposed to the music.
Right.
But every year in Paris, you do see like there's the Scottish flag, the Irish
Oh,
flag,
yeah,
the
yeah.
English.
Yeah, I
like
take
you
that
get,
back,
it's interesting. And I think to make that big trip to Australia, which Jimmy doesn't do all the time, they must have been really happy to see him.
Yes, they'd love to see him. You know, and he was thinking about coming back over again.
Yeah.
And that festival was a great festival because they had like 3-4 stages, you know, and they have bands going on all day long.
Now, was Zach Brown and his crew, were they staying with the Buffett crew and Buffett Band same hotel?
Yes.
Did you run into those guys?
Yeah, I ran into them guys. Nice guys, you know. They was hanging out, you know. I think they performed there twice.
Yeah.
They did 2 days there and everything. They was they said they had this new group, these girl dancers.
In his band?
Yes, it's a different band. It's a different group. They played on the side stage. They played on the small stage.
Zach and some girls?
Now, what only was Zach? It's
Oh.
it's a new group that Zach is promoting now.
Oh.
Oh, maybe another one under his label.
Under his label.
I should know.
or
We should know this. Yeah.
Maybe recording at his studio and he's helping him out. I don't know.
Yeah,
Check that
Was
out.
it good?
we didn't get to check it out because you know we had no way over after we got done, so we went on a ride. The ride was like very slim because you know the buses come and pick up you when you get ready to go. Then when you come back, they drop you off, and then it's like a hour and a half ride from my hotel to the
Oh,
gig.
so they're shuttling people, and when you're done, they get you out of there.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a ride, man.
there's a ride.
Dang, an hour and a half.
Hour and a half ride from my hotel.
Cause like, what's one of our longest rides? Like in Chicago, if we go down and play the World, that's a solid
Yeah.
45 maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
And Boston's
Boston's long, yeah,
Mansfield.
yeah.
That's a long one. About
All right.
45 hour.
Then you flew back,
Flew back.
and then before you knew it,
we flew on Sunday, and I got home in North Carolina on Sunday. Because you know we're going back in time. We went into time. Now we're going back into time, which is pretty cool. You know, your days all messed up.
He must have slept for a couple days
Oh
just to
man.
kind of get caught up.
Yeah, it took me about 3 days. Couldn't sleep.
Man.
Waking up, you know, staying up at midnight, staying up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting up watching TV. You know.
I remember the one time we went down. Jimmy played a couple small shows for fun in Australia, maybe 5-6 years ago. We flew on the 17th of September. My birthday's the 18th, and we landed on the 19th.
Right.
So I missed my birthday
Yes, in the air.
in the air. so I don't know if that makes me a year younger, but I do know I missed out on some presents when I was down there. But that
Right.
was pretty crazy.
Uh-huh.
So you got enough rest, and then the next thing you know, we're in rehearsals in Charleston.
Rehearsal in Charleston and back on the tour again.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Rehearsals is kind of interesting because when you're in that arena, this is kind of an extension of the tour this year, right? It's going with the same name, but it's a unique year because this year the album Changes in Latitudes turns 40, which coincidentally so does the song Margaritaville. So I know one of the main things they worked on was putting that twist to the tour this year because they had so much fun with the tour last year, and it led us right up to kicking off the first show in Charleston at a stadium we've never been to, that Volvo Car Stadium.
Right.
Tennis. It's like a giant tennis court.
Super unique.
Yeah, because when I
Yes.
heard stadium and I just saw like I didn't even see like a real picture of it. And when we got there, I went, oh man, this is not as big as I thought it was going to be when you hear the word stadium.
Right.
But the cool thing about it was that not a bad seat in the house for this
No.
one.
And
they-
I actually heard like people on the top of the balconies could actually see downtown Charleston.
that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the sunset over the water. That would have been pretty cool in itself.
yeah. Weather was awesome.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, it looked like an outdoor House of Blues. For
Yes, yeah.
I mean,
and
bigger.
it sounded really
It
good.
sounded great. It was bigger, 7,000 seats. Show sold out in 5 minutes. But it just that open air kind of like giant beer garden is what it kind of felt like.
Right.
What was it like being down on the floor?
Oh man, it was great. Everybody was loud, having a great time. And it sound great and hot because when a lot of people get in there and get packed in that stage and that light, it make more heat.
And you're closest to the people during the show when you can see some. Did you see any? You're like, oh, I don't know if they're gonna make it.
I saw one cat and he had a Batman suit on.
I saw that guy. I saw him after the show. I'm like, where the hell's he coming from?
and I seen him before at other shows, and he had the Batman suit on, and he came up to me, "Hey Snake, how you doing?" And he keep taking the mask off because it was getting too hot.
Like, was it like the legit Batman mask?
Yeah, legit Batman mask. And he said, "I see you in Orlando." I said, "Okay, I'm seeing you in West Palm too."
Wow.
And I said, "Well, you gotta keep that mask on because Jimmy like to see you with that mask on." But
oh, there goes my phone. Better turn that off. So you told him to bring the mask back to the show?
Yes, I said keep the mask on, man. But he said it was too hot. You're getting hot. It was getting hot. But he took it off every once in a while. But it's
I saw him. He's wearing shorts and he had the Batman outfit and like Mardi Gras beads on and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It was.
Mm-hmm. And he's been to I think he's been to over 100 shows. He had on his. You put on your back on your shoulder like a tattoo. He's been over 100 shows.
Yeah.
And everything.
That guy who started it, Michael Hallie, is a guy I recently interviewed when I was down on a trip to Costa Rica for the Margaritaville podcast because he started that. Okay. He started the painting the numbers thing.
No.
They take a stencil for anyone who hasn't seen it, and then they take the stencil and some sort of spray paint that washes off. I'm guessing
it takes paint, yeah,
a paint of some sort, and then they put the numbers on how many shows you've been to, and they kind of tattoo it on your right or
and
left
it's kind of like
shoulder.
a rite of passage. You walk around,
right.
People say, "Oh man, this is their whatever." Because when people are fans of Jimmy's are like that, like, "Hey man, I've been to this many shows," and I'm sure it's the same with other bands that tour a lot and people travel to see those bands.
Right.
But anyway, Michael Hallie, I
think he was at 174 or
175
last night.
174?
I think so.
But
yeah.
he did this. So after the show, I saw him, and he never asks for anything. He's a sweet guy. He got featured on the big screen last year during Margaritaville.
Right, riding the
Stan
horse.
Kellum went down to his bar that he bought in Costa Rica because he was so inspired by what Jimmy does. He bought this bar in Tamarindo and rode a horse in front of his bar, and that's what they put up on the big screen for Margaritaville last year.
Right.
So I saw him after the show. I'm like, "Hey, buddy." And he's like, "Hey, we're going to Orlando." He goes, "It's Parrot Head Red's 100th show." So they're bringing Parrot Head Red is coming to the show Saturday, and he'll have 100 painted on his arm, so it's a big deal.
And I think Batman is with him. the same group.
Say.
That's when you're gonna bring Robin. I said, "Where's Robin at, man?" He said, "I hadn't found Robin yet."
God, it was a good crowd.
Yeah,
it was a good crowd. And
yes.
I was beat, man. I got my butt kicked yesterday.
Yeah.
For the small size of the stadium that it was, the distances you had to run, let alone for getting the trucks loaded up and everything and getting the show ready. The License to Chill Lounge is over in that park.
Yep.
The Grand Lawn, they call it. And then the box office all in the front and all over on that concrete. And that heat, I couldn't wait to just hit the showers and just go to my bunk. Yeah.
Stadiums and arenas are difficult because unlike amphitheaters have the offices, the loading dock, the buses, the trucks, everything in one location, and then it's just the box office that's on the other side of the building generally, right? Where the arenas, it's just a big donut or oval.
And that stadium was like an outdoor arena, if that makes sense, right? Because you had to go around,
Yeah. Everything was spread out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need a golf cart or a bike to get to one end to another.
Well, speaking of golf carts, that's what we had to do. So Rob Manley, our Live Nation promoter rep who was at the show, he's like, "Hey, you guys are ready to shower when the show's done and your stuff's packed up. We got towels over at the locker room and we got a golf cart that'll take you." And I'm thinking, man, we got to go across campus just to go get a shower. Get on the bus,
and then you walk back and you're sweating on your way back to the bus.
So we, and you know how it goes. We get in the golf cart. Jared's driving us, because again, I guess that's part. We should see if that's what he's part of Shuttle now with this production assistant title. We get there, we get to the locker room, and there's like 3 tiny showers, and it's a tennis court clubhouse, right?
Okay.
So think about with how many 40 something odd crew guys that got a shower that night. So we
showers.
got there first. And you know how it is. Like, we normally, at least me, this is what I do. Because the towels are always bad.
Right.
They're junk towels.
Yeah.
They're like, it's like they went to AutoZone and they bought like slightly bigger than hand towels. I'm talking if you would have
can't wrap it around
if
yourself.
you wrap it around your waist, you have a slit going up all the way up to your thigh waist, right? And the towel ends below your knee, and it's just tiny, and they're coarse.
The thread count is just consider it like 80 grit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like an exfoliant. They're like shop towels, and there's tons of them all folded up. You're like, come on, man. And so when I got to the shower, you're out of practice and you're just kicking off the tour because I'd forgotten at our hotel. Normally what I do is I just, when I'm walking in the hallway and I see the housekeeping thing,
Right.
when the ladies got her the shampoos and all that stuff, I grab a towel, throw it
yeah.
in my backpack.
Oh, yeah.
Just to have like a real bath towel.
Right.
And I forgot to do that. Probably because I was so hungover. I was struggling on show day anyway.
Yeah.
That's the other problem. When you have that many days in a town, right, Hallie?
Right.
Think about it. A crew, roadies need structure because if they don't have structure, things can go to shit real fast.
Real fast.
They'll start spending a lot of them. They start going. They're like,
per diem.
Per diem goes. They go out to the bars. They start finding a good bar, and they start going back to that bar.
Right.
Next thing you know, because they're
We normally
they get stir crazy.
Yeah, well, normally when you're doing a show after show after show, that the night before you got to pack up your stuff and you got to leave in the morning or pack up that morning.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have that much more time, right? So you kind of really make your hotel room your home.
Yeah.
And spread things out, and then after that, what do? You don't want to hang out in your hotel room.
No, but like I said, if you're used to having those shows at night, when you don't have them after a while, it's like you can't help it. You go out to where
You got to do something.
right and
Now, Wild Wings is a good place to go there in Charleston because they have like live music.
that's one of the first bars rehearsals that Hallie took me to my first year.
Yes.
I remember Wild Wings, with a Z.
It was yes. And it's a great bar. You have a nice band, a lot of beers.
Is that on King Street?
No, it's
No,
further down.
On Market, the Market Street.
It's down, on Market
Yes.
Street, past,
Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that I remember that one. Lars and I ran into this bar. The week we were in Charleston, we didn't go out. And we were asking locals, what's your favorite bar? Like, oh, Big Guns. And a few people said Big Guns. And I'm like, wow, what's this deal with Big Guns? So Lars and I ended up going there after a dinner the night before the show and having a few drinks just with dinner. And we end up going to this place, and there's like a few people playing pool in the back.
Right.
It's like hard rock music.
All the settings for a good dive bar, except
Yeah.
for the music, was horrible.
So bad.
Horrible.
So bad. So we were already feeling pretty good at the time. We sat down at the bar. There weren't many people there, and we ordered a few drinks, and we started hassling the bartender, and we were demanding yacht rock.
Yacht rock. What's a yacht rock?
How's it go? Because Lars has a brother-in-law who's a huge yacht rock fan. It would be like, sometimes they throw Jimmy into that category. It's
Right.
just easy listening beach music.
Okay.
Michael McDonald, he'd be on that. Christopher
Hall &
Cross,
Oates.
Hall & Oates.
Okay.
They call it.
The Doobie Brothers.
Maybe. It'd be
You
interesting. I don't know if they call them, if they'd be more classic or Southern rock, but I'm sure there's a Doobie Brothers.
I'm sure it'll come up in some playlist.
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ambrosia.
It's good music because you can tune into it, start singing with it, and you can also tune it out and enjoy your
When
friends.
they're playing metal, I
Right,
can't
right.
sit there and enjoy a
No.
drink.
and it
No,
was
no.
like super heavy metal. Where,
Not the heavy metal.
No.
Screaming,
Oh,
screaming
man.
over the music.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so no one else is buying drinks, so we tell him, he's like, all right, the bartender's like, fine, and so he starts playing it, and there's a couple guys who are back in the playing pool. You can hear them like, what's this crap? What's this music? Because it was Hall & Oates, and I forget what else they put on there.
Mad. One guy got mad that Tom Petty came on, and he got mad.
Yeah, he got mad at our
Tom
Tom Petty
Petty.
selection. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, get out of it. You're not allowed to go into a bar.
Yeah.
And so this guy who was, I don't, we didn't get his name, but he was, kind of making fun of the music to us, but not directly. It was very passive aggressive. And we're sitting there, and we don't care because, at that point we're drunk and
Right.
we own the bar at this point. We're the only one ordering drinks, so the bartender's going to hang out, and do the things that his paying customers will want, right?
Yeah.
He comes up and he finally pays for whatever he had to pay for, right?
Yeah.
And what did he say, Lars?
He's like, I think he was paying as he went, and he gave him like, I don't know, I think he had a mixed drink, but he gave the bartender some money, and he said, "Hey man, do you mind if I just get $1 back? And the bartender kind of looked at him, and then the patron looked back and he goes, no, you know what? You just keep it. No, you know what? I would love to have that $1 because I'm so broke. I'm broke, man. I'm really broke. I think he was a college student. He goes, I'm just so broke, man. And no, keep it. No, just keep it. No, I could really use it. And it was just the most bizarre thing. And at that point, we're like, well, we're going to leave this guy some money, so just keep playing yacht rock.
But at the same time, we're going, don't go out drinking if you are desperately in need of $1.
Right.
And don't make fun of yacht rock.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
You know,
because you're gonna need a couple more bucks to get a boat.
Yeah. So then we realized, wow, it's late and we've been drinking. We need food, and I looked up on my phone. We found this place called Pizza King. You know, just a dive place that just sells pizza late at night. We ate 2 slices. We ate 1.
We walked back to the hotel. Realized we should have just got another one.
So we walked back, got more, and then we went back to the hotel.
And just.
I was fired up, and I started listening to some music in my room, you know, with my headphones on. You know, you're feeling real good, and I'm like, I know I should have been in bed hours before. Should have been at bed hours before, and I wasn't, because you know it was like, dang it, we hit our, you know, Lars and I, you know, we found a good spot. We just kept going. I go to bed. I wake up. I don't know what time it is, and I don't feel good. And I sit up. I'm like, I think I'm gonna throw up. So I walk over to the bathroom, and I'm standing with like my hands on my legs, like I just go, wah!
Wait, was anything coming out?
Oh yeah, 3 times, and I hit the toe. I mean, great aim. I remember looking in there going, when did I eat kale? And I didn't. I don't know what the hell it was. And then I went to bed, and I woke up like around 8. 10 in the morning or whatever. No, it was like 8:30, and I couldn't go back to sleep, and I'm like, oh God. Just started drinking tons of water, and that's not the great way to start a tour and on a hot day outdoors.
Right. Not a hot day like that.
You would think after touring for 18 years now, I would have learned that. But I'm just telling you, roadies need structure.
Yes.
Damn it, Jimmy. We can't be in a town that long and not do a show.
I remember one time we came to Charleston, and we came on the bus. We was on the bus, and our hotel wasn't ready. And so next thing you know, we had a little party on the bus.
Yep, we partied on the bus.
Coming to Charleston, and then next thing you know, we was like parked in the back alley, and there was some horses over there or something, and it was then Hakey and then went down there to look at the horse and come back.
We partied on that bus.
Oh yes.
We were bored and we just partied. We over partied. And so we were feeling pretty good. Yeah, and for some reason it was like a stable in a building.
Yeah.
And I was so interested in it. I don't know why. And we're walking through there, and there's these horses, and then we leave it, and next thing we're just wandering town aimlessly, right, Hallie?
Right. Just walking around, sweating. 90 degrees out there.
And we had no reason to leave the bus, but after a while, you feel like it can be a wonderful oasis, and it can be a prison cell.
Right.
So we're walking around, and finally, Hallie breaks character. Right.
And I'm like, man, why in the heck are we walking around here for? Let's get on this bus.
Yeah, I know. We're like the voice of reason after we've been drinking. We're like, you're right. What are we doing out in this heat? Like, we're looking for something. We finally make it back. Thank goodness the hotel rooms are ready. But it just goes to show you, if we have too much spare time out here, Hallie, it's not a good thing.
Not a good thing.
No.
You get bored, then you go to a bar, and next thing you know, you find yourself over a toilet.
That's true. It's true. It's time for questions. We've got people writing in. We sent out an announcement before we recorded this thing for the Gypsies in the Palace edition of the Margaritaville Podcast. So we're going to go to those questions now from fans who've been going to shows over the years and who are going to the show this year. So let's see what we got here. Let's start off with Kendall Hamilton on Twitter. We all know Kendall. She's awesome. She writes, she says, tell us about the pirates on your bus. Well, we kind of shared a few stories there, but our bus 4, is Hallie in Charleston with security, Lars, Jared, who's not here right now, and myself. I like our bus. It's just 5 of us.
Yes.
Which is nice. So it gives us condo bunks. Most of the time, bunks are 3 tall, and you can't sit up in them. Ours are 2 tall. You can sit up, work on your laptop if you want to.
Right.
It's not like being enclosed.
Yeah, you probably got like 3.5 feet or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can do it.
TV.
Yes. And the other bus, I have to get out of the bunk to turn over to get on my stomach.
That's right. You can't go sideways.
No,
on
I can't go
those.
sideways.
No. I know.
There's a few too where like my legs hit where at the very like the I guess the foot area, and then my head hits the headboard, and that's impossible to sleep when your body's touching 2 hard surfaces on both ends.
But the tricky thing for us is those other buses have a front lounge and a back lounge. We don't have a back lounge because Charleston can't fit in the bunk.
Right.
So they make like they turn the couch, fold out into a bed. So Charleston has like a back bedroom.
Yeah, legitimate bedroom.
Yeah.
And then we have a random bus driver.
Yeah, it's always different.
Right.
Yeah. But we'll have more stories about the Pirates on our bus to be able to share more stories. But that's bus 4, okay? That whether you want to call it the Margaritaville bus, bus 4, security bus, that's us here from the Gypsies. It's the Gypsies in the Palace bus. We'll say that.
Yes.
Kendall also asks, what is your favorite bus drink? Is it rum, tequila, rosé, red wine, LandShark, or you write it in? Hallie, what's your favorite? If you're going to drink after a show, what's your favorite beverage?
It would probably be rum.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I used to have another partner on the bus with me, and he loved that rum.
Dan.
That 10 cane.
10 cane.
10 cane rum.
Yeah, he'd go out and buy it on his own.
Yeah, because you can't buy it. In some of these states, you can't buy it.
No.
You know, so, but that's the sweetest rum you're ever going to taste.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I love it.
10 cane.
10 cane.
I was going to answer that for you, Hallie, and say everything.
Everything.
Because I've seen you start with beer, and then I've seen you end with vodka.
Yeah,
and
there's
then
a progression for Hallie.
After the 10 cane rum, you get to drinking a bottle of 10 cane rum, then you start drinking everything else.
Okay. I will say most people would probably side with me and say if you switch, the whole liquor before beer or beer before liquor, and it just doesn't agree with your system. I've seen you do both,
yes,
and it doesn't seem to affect you.
Yeah, I've seen you start with beer, then go to vodka.
Yes, because when you're hardcore, you're hardcore. When you're weak, you're just weak.
Spoken like a true.
And don't forget about that tequila now. That tequila.
Do you avoid tequila?
No, I love tequila.
You do?
Especially when it's chilled.
Chill.
Yeah.
You'll do shots.
Shots. That's
yeah,
right.
I like it when maybe you have a beer or two and you just want to jump up.
Yeah.
You don't want to just kind of ease your way up. You just want to bump it up a notch.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would just start with usually a beer and then maybe some vodka if Hallie's drinking.
Oh yeah.
I'll go if I didn't have like a glass of wine with dinner and catering, I'll just wait and go beer. I go beer. Or I do if it's man. But I'll go beer, but I'll say this though, it's if you got a long bus ride and like you're going to wake up and you're still rolling, like you don't get to the hotel noon or whatever, I'll probably go rum or vodka. Rum or vodka because you're like, hey, I'll be able to sleep a little longer and we'll turn on some tunes and kind of party a little.
Yes.
Yeah, and then see who's the last man standing. It's always Hallie.
Yes, especially like 16-hour bus ride. I've been up for 16 hours one night. Drinking.
That was we went Dallas to Charlotte.
Yes.
And you guys were up the entire time.
Drink. We ran out of booze. Made the bus driver go get some gas. Went in the store and bought some more booze to bring on the bus.
I remember waking up somewhere in New Orleans and walking out there just to see what was going on because it was still so loud. And I'm like, man, they've been partying forever. The sun was up. I think there was 2 liters or fifths of vodka gone.
I just know the guy who was on tour with us that year. He's no longer with us. I don't have to say his name. Nice guy.
Right.
He stayed up the whole time with you. I can't believe it.
Yes.
Hats off to him.
And made so bad about it. He keep calling me Weenie Boy every time I try to go in the bunk.
Right.
Oh yeah, trying to wake you up and pull you out of your bed.
Yes.
Well, so you guys stayed up the whole night, and I'll never forget. We're trying to check in the hotel, and I'm looking at him. He partied so hard he couldn't figure out how to get into the hotel.
No.
He was actually in the bushes. Like, I think he was going to walk through a plate glass window.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes, I remember
And
that.
then I do believe he started peeing outside of the hotel right there. Yeah. Oh,
That's
good
right.
times, hey?
Good
All right,
times.
we got another question here. Let's take a look here. Scroll down. Steve Harris, our boy Steve Harris. Steve Harris just got back from Costa Rica, and I know he's going to the show tomorrow in Orlando. How long does it take to set everything up for a show at a venue? Well, generally we leave the hotel at 7 in the morning. Crew does. Breakfast is at 7:30. They start loading in at 8 a.m. And on average, they get done around 2 or 2:30, so that they'll have everything set up for the band when they get there around 3:30 for sound check. But that's the normal thing.
Right.
This year we started a day early in Charleston just because we never played that venue before, and it's a lot longer to load in, and we had the luxury of having a rehearsal day or a sound check day before. So we started actually on Friday, got everything set up so that everything be ready to go Saturday for the Charleston show that we were just at. But yeah, so 8 a.m. to about 2:30. And to get out of there, normally if the show gets done around 10:30, we're normally by 12:30, buses are ready to roll.
Right.
It was a little longer.
Packed up,
Yeah, showered, packed up, ready to roll. A little longer. I think 1:45 we left last night is what Jared told me.
Yes.
He looked up when I saw him. Yeah, a little longer to get out of there, just the way it was. Let's see. We got Wizman. Wizman writes in. And you can follow Wizman at Where Is Wizman? Wizman with Wizmann. He travels a lot because he lives in South Dakota, and he says, is it on Jimmy's bucket list to move back to South Dakota or visit or play a show? Asking for a friend. I think he's asking for Wizman. I've never been to South Dakota. I've always wanted to go. I don't know if it's on Jimmy's bucket list to move back there because there's no surfing whatsoever unless you're on the internet.
Yeah, but every time...
I'm saying move back there.
Yeah, so probably not.
Yeah.
Right? I
Yeah.
think that's fair to say. But every time around that Paris show in September, he's always talking about bird hunting.
Right.
And I think there's a really good bird hunting in South Dakota.
Well, he goes to Montana now and again.
So, I mean, if he went back to South Dakota, my guess would be to do some bird hunting with his son or some friends.
Maybe.
That'd be my guess.
But is there a place? Hey, Wizman, when you hear this, write into us. Where can we play? Like, is there a place that holds more than 10,000?
Right.
That's is there an amphitheater or an arena? What can we do there?
I mean, if we've done Minnesota, we sure.
Yeah, or we
Sure
played
could do.
Boise,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Well, what's stopping us from going to?
We'll put a word in.
Yeah, we'll put a word in. Let's see here.
2018.
And last question from at Lone Palm Alley. Well, Allie, here we go. How lit is the fourth row going to be in Jamlando tomorrow? I've never heard Orlando as Jamlando. How lit is the fourth row going to be?
I would say like the 4th of July.
Yeah. If Lone Palm Alley's in the fourth row, it's going to look like Roman candles. I don't know. If you're referring to the stage lighting, it'll be lit up a bit, but if you're there, yeah, it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to be crazy. Hallie, tomorrow night, be on the lookout for just the fourth row.
Fourth row. I look out for the fourth row.
Because you stand stage left.
Yes.
Which technically, you folks that are watching the stage, that's your right-hand side of the stage. So if you see this muscular guy who has a black belt in jiu-jitsu, correct?
Yes, sir.
Got it last year?
Yes, sir.
That's the guy who's going to be looking at the fourth row in Orlando.
That's right. And if you want me to light you up, lit you up, I will take my flashlight and shine it on you and make you look brighter.
That's right. And if it gets too lit, Hallie's got plenty of buckets of water behind there to throw it out there.
Yes.
I'm interested. I might sneak out and see what's going on in the fourth
row. I know, right?
Oh, I know. But it's spelled lit. It's capital L, capital I, capital T. So I don't know if that's an acronym or if she's just like emphasizing it's going to be lit, which I think is what she's doing on this one.
Right.
All right, Lone Palm Alley. Well, we hope to see you in the fourth row and all lit up, right?
Yeah. Is that the same girl that has the lampshade hula girl hat?
It might be.
I know she goes to California.
That's California shows. I don't know.
Maybe That's
yeah,
what
she
means.
dresses
Maybe
up like
she's-
an actual Hawaiian girl lamp. Like
Yeah.
she looks like she's the Hawaiian girl and the lamp on the head, and she's got the hula skirts.
It's an awesome costume.
Awesome
for the
costume.
show.
Right.
Yeah, we've seen that at the Fillmore before.
Yep.
They were at the Belly Up.
I doubt it's her, but that's all I think of.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, this is the first edition of the Gypsies in the Palace Margaritaville podcast. This is the kind of stuff you're going to be hearing. It may suck. It may be great. We don't know. But we thought it'd be something fun to do to give us our own structure on the road. So we're not spending our own money in the bar.
Right.
But we're going to recap every show. We're going to tell you stories from the road. We'll have additional guests from the Jimmy Buffett crew, roadie department. So you can continue to send in your questions. But until
I would like
then,
to say
yeah.
also that, I mean, we're in a hotel room today, but I think it might be fun to go from different places, whether it's a bar or
I'd like to do
show
a bar.
day. If we have
A
time.
beach.
A
A beach. Yeah, well, actually,
Change the scenery.
yeah, we are going to have 2 days off in Del Rey.
Right.
That could work. So it's going to be a roaming podcast on the Jimmy Buffett tour. So stay tuned for more.
It can't get worse.
Hashtag it can't get
Get
worse. Margaritaville Podcast, Gypsies in the Palace edition. Fins up, everybody.
Yeah.